There's a place where every step echoes with destiny, where each breath seems to carry a hidden meaning. In this moment, perhaps without realizing it, something deep inside already knows you are exactly where you're meant to be. Yet that quiet certainty often hides behind the noise of daily life, revealing itself only in subtle glimpses. The present may seem like nothing more than a fleeting fragment of time, but it holds the timeless wisdom of Chico Xavier like an invisible beacon. It's an invitation to see beyond appearances, to feel what words can't express, and to understand that acceptance is not resignation. It's an act of faith that connects us to something eternal. Beneath every doubt and every pause beats the certainty that nothing is random, a whisper of destiny that reminds us that even when the heart hesitates to believe, the pieces of life's puzzle are fitting together. It's as if every breath is a doorway to what lies ahead, and every thought a reflection of a path still unfolding. Here, there are no easy explanations, only an invitation to feel. And in the dance between uncertainty and trust, a quiet truth emerges, one that doesn't need to be spoken aloud, but simply recognized in the depths of whoever dares to look within. Because in the rhythm of the present, everything that once seemed disconnected begins to find its secret pulse. 1. The importance of trusting the current moment. There is no storm that lasts forever. Chico Xavier. There are times when the present feels like a place of uncertainties, yet also of hidden discoveries. Each breath becomes a silent invitation to trust, even when everything seems so fragile. There's an invisible strength in choosing to stay here, without the rush to be somewhere else. To accept this moment as enough is to honor the dance between destiny and faith, feeling how each step already carries within it the seed of the next. Still, there's a question that echoes in the corners of the soul. How do we allow acceptance to bloom when pain and doubt keep pulling us backward? There's something subtle in this present moment that we often overlook. It asks nothing more than our complete presence. And when we surrender to what is, we find not a final answer, but a silent embrace of destiny that holds us in the now. Life teaches us, moment by moment, that to resist the present is to waste what it's trying to show us. In the now, old scars find room to heal without the need to understand or fix everything at once. And in that place of surrender, acceptance becomes an act of faith, a quiet trust that, even without knowing, each breath is already leading us to the place where Chico Xavier's wisdom whispers in the silence. Sometimes the mind wants to run, to find explanations, to shape the present to the desires of an imagined future. But destiny never hurries. It unfolds at the slow rhythm of one who knows that everything has its perfect time to bloom. And if we learn to rest in the present, something shifts. Anxiety dissolves, and life reveals that this moment is not just an interval, but the starting point for everything yet to come. 2. What Chico said about the right place. There are no wrong paths, only hidden lessons. Chico Xavier. We often think that life is a perfectly drawn map, but Chico Xavier's wisdom reminds us that the place we're in today isn't a mistake or an accident. It's a reflection of the seeds we've planted and the lessons we chose to learn, often without even realizing it. Every step, every breath, every encounter, each one has a purpose greater than the mind can always understand. Amid daily routines and the expectations that weigh on us, we forget that the present is a gift from destiny. Even when we can't see it, life places us exactly where we're meant to be. Not to punish us or force us into resignation, but to show us that true faith grows when we accept what is. That quiet faith becomes the bridge between this moment and what is eternal. There's a whisper in every corner of our lives telling us that the right place doesn't always match our expectations. It may not be the most comfortable or the most desired, but it's the space where our true self can flourish. Because what we call mistakes are, in truth, shortcuts to our deepest truths. And when we learn to listen to that whisper, acceptance becomes the secret map that guides every step. Yet so often we resist the present, clinging to the idea that destiny is a fixed point when it's really a horizon that expands with each breath. Here, Chico Xavier's wisdom invites us to pause, to observe, and to honor life as it is. A quiet dance between who we are and who we're still learning to become. 3. Acceptance as a spiritual act of faith. When the soul trusts what it cannot see, it finds the path it was always meant to walk. Chico Xavier. Acceptance is much more than simply saying yes or giving up control. It's a deep whisper of the soul, asking us to let go even when we don't fully understand why destiny unfolds as it does. In every act of acceptance lies the seed of faith, the quiet certainty that even when life doesn't follow the script we imagined, there's a purpose guiding each step. To accept doesn't mean to abandon what we long for. It means to open our hearts to what life is trying to teach us, even when that lesson feels painful. In that space of vulnerability, we discover our true strength, a strength that grows from trusting what can't be seen, and from the silent knowing that nothing happens by chance. So often, the mind demands explanations, but the soul understands that understanding doesn't always come in words. Acceptance is a dance between the present and destiny, a dance that calls for faith even when the path is shrouded in darkness. Chico Xavier's wisdom reminds us that faith doesn't need evidence. It only needs a heart willing to listen to what beats beyond appearances. When we begin to practice acceptance, something shifts. Pain stops being an enemy and becomes a messenger. Each wound, each silence, each tear becomes a mirror reflecting the truth we carry inside. Faith becomes the bridge between what the mind fears and what the soul already knows, that everything happens to help us grow, not to destroy us. Yet there's a detail we often miss. Acceptance isn't a final destination. It's a continuous act of presence. It's the art of trusting without guarantees, of letting go of expectations, and of allowing this moment to be enough. Like a river that flows without needing to know where it's going. Acceptance teaches us to move with life, not against it. Chico Xavier's wisdom tells us that in every moment of acceptance, we're planting seeds for a future we can't yet imagine. Faith becomes a quiet force that holds our hope, even when the mind doubts. Because acceptance isn't born from certainty, but from the love revealed in what life offers us now. In this process, we discover that acceptance is an act of both humility and courage. Humility to admit we don't have all the answers, and courage to trust that destiny always knows what it's doing. With each breath we choose to inhabit with faith, life shows us a new layer of its mystery. But what few understand is that acceptance is only the beginning. Because when we truly accept, the signs that life is trying to teach us something begin to shine like stars in the darkness. 4. Signs that life is trying to teach you sometimes. The signs life sends us are as subtle as the touch of a breeze on a cool morning. Other times, they're as clear as the roar of thunder shaking the calm. But they're always there, reminding us that every moment carries a message, a hidden lesson. Chico Xavier's wisdom says that these signs are the whispers of destiny, and learning to hear them is an act of faith and acceptance. We don't always understand life's language. So often, we search for answers in grand gestures or loud words, forgetting that the real lessons often hide in the smallest details. An unexpected encounter, a painful loss, a choice that seems to make no sense. Each one has a purpose beyond what the mind can explain. Accepting these signs is what connects us to the present and to the flow of destiny. Faith asks us to open our eyes and hearts to what life reveals, even if we don't always grasp its meaning. Sometimes, the signs come as a déjà vu, a whisper in a quiet moment, or a feeling that we're being guided towards something beyond what we can see. Here, Chico Xavier's wisdom becomes an echo that reminds us, nothing happens by chance. Accepting the signs doesn't mean having all the answers. It means recognizing that something larger is working through every detail. Every emotion, every meeting, every coincidence is part of a puzzle that only reveals itself when we trust enough to let the pieces fall into place on their own. Acceptance becomes the key that opens the door to a deeper understanding of ourselves. 5. How to align presence with purpose. There comes a moment when life asks us to pause and truly listen. The instant we realize that real strength lies in living the present with purpose. Chico Xavier's wisdom teaches us that faith is not just about waiting for what will come, but about honoring who we are right now. When we align our presence with our purpose, each breath becomes an act of creation and every step an echo of destiny. Living with purpose doesn't mean having a detailed plan for every day. It's more like a quiet commitment to what gives meaning to each gesture, each glance, each word. When we inhabit the present with that intention, acceptance stops being an effort and becomes life's quiet whisper. As if each heartbeat reminds us that purpose isn't found in some distant future. It's in how we choose to hold this very moment. Acceptance and faith are the invisible roots of that presence. Because when we trust that what we're living has meaning, even if we don't fully understand it, we stop fighting against life's natural flow. Chico Xavier's wisdom tells us that purpose isn't something to seek outside. It reveals itself when we're willing to hear the whisper of who we already are, here and now. Destiny doesn't demand explanations. It only asks for surrender. And that surrender begins when we see each moment as a seed of possibility. Accepting what life brings without judgment or resistance is how we make space for purpose to show itself. It's like walking through a quiet forest, where each step brings us closer to a clearing of light we never knew was there. In the quiet space between what we dream and what we live, we discover a true connection to purpose, not as a goal to be reached, but as a subtle dance between what we feel and what life offers. Presence becomes the fertile ground where destiny can bloom, and faith is the water that nourishes each silent root. But there's something almost no one understands. Purpose is not in grand achievements. It's in how we inhabit each small moment. A shared smile, a quiet pause, a word spoken from the heart. All these become part of the symphony life is playing just for us. And when we listen to that melody with faith, each note holds a hidden meaning that slowly reveals itself. Chico Xavier's wisdom shows us that purpose and presence are two sides of the same coin. It's not about doing more, but about being more aware. About honoring the present as a gift from destiny, and letting acceptance become the bridge between who we are and who we can become. In this way, each day becomes a doorway to something greater. What few understand is that when we align presence and purpose, we stop being spectators and become active participants in the mystery of life. In that space, faith becomes a beacon that lights even the darkest paths. Because at the heart of that connection, we discover that the true right place isn't in another time or another place. It's right here and now. There's a moment when everything fits together and truth shines with the brightness of a sunrise dissolving ancient shadows. Like a whisper that's always been there, acceptance reveals its true face. Not surrender, but trust in what life has chosen to show us. And it's then, when we stop searching and start feeling, that we realize, not at the end of it all, the answer was always here. But are we really ready to receive it? Today, perhaps you felt that the right place is not a distant destination, but this very moment. Chico Xavier's whisper reminds us that accepting what is brings us closer to what we've always been, souls destined to grow in every instant. You don't need to force anything. Just breathe and let life reveal its purpose, one that only appears when you trust that you are exactly where you need to be. In this acceptance lies the courage to release doubts and open yourself to the wisdom of each step. Because each breath, each silence, each glance are echoes of a destiny that beats within the present. And when we embrace it with faith, life responds with new possibilities, as quiet and powerful as the roots of a tree that blooms without asking for permission. Now, the question hangs in the air. How much of your present have you left undiscovered for fear of not understanding it? Let this reflection resonate, and if you feel called to share what you felt, leave your thoughts in the comments. Your voice may help others also see the value of embracing the now, without conditions, without expectations. And if you'd like to keep exploring this journey of trust and destiny, I invite you to watch the video I've left above. Because perhaps this path of acceptance is just the beginning of something even greater, something that has been waiting to be felt since the very start. See you in the next video.